Redneck Muck, peace. So, got Elvira up on the lift, and I'm going to let you know my plan, show you a few things, and then bring you in and out as I do my plan, hopefully that goes as planned. So, since I've did all the engine upgrades, I have horrible traction problems because she's just got a single track. So I'm going to install something to help out with that, and it's probably the easiest thing I could find and the quickest thing I could find to do that without a ton of work, while I figure out exactly the direction I want to go. So what I'm going to do is install a lunchbox locker. So a lunchbox locker, you pull your back cover off, you pull an axle, and after you get the one axle out, then inside the differential, you'll remove your center pin, take your spider gears out, and then the lunchbox locker goes in your open differential. And the only issue really with the lunchbox locker is it'd be great on something that you drive off-road a lot. With a car on the road, it's going to, anytime I accelerate, it's going to want to lock. So like going around a corner where I used to kind of be able to accelerate through a corner, it's not going to like that. If I go accelerating through a corner, it's going to push. But I'm okay with that because I really want to go a straight line. That's what I'm after. So, so yeah, let me show you the locker, and then we'll get into pulling some stuff apart. So here's my Spartan locker, assembled in the USA. I don't know exactly what that means. It doesn't say made in the USA, it says assembled in the USA. But anyway, so they're proud of USA. So this is my axles, and I'm hoping all this is right because I'm judging off of, I have a Dana 44 30 spline. That's what this is for, but you hear more about people with Jeeps. So this locker is going to go like on this locker will go here, so it locks together. There's my new cross pin, there's my springs and new roll pin and other little pins. So those other little pins, I think those are just temporary. See how these have the little groove on them? And I think you'll push these back to collapse it. You'll put these pins in to hold it, and then when you get it all together in the car, you'll pull those pins out, and then the springs will expand out to work the locker, I think. So I got my wheel off and my brake drum off, and I've run into my first little thing that I didn't know was here. And that is this little plate right here. So this little plate is kind of tight. I don't know if I'll be able to work him off there. You can see I can move him just a little bit down there. Oh. Probably ain't gonna be able to do it with one hand. But so to get to my bolts back here, there's a hole somewhere. Right there he is. He's right where that finger is. So I'll bring you back after I get this plate off, but this plate should just work off. So there we go. There's the hole I was talking about. I gotta use this guy. Why is that so tight? My brakes are on. There we go. Just because he's little, but see, so you line up the hole so I can take my bolts loose, and then my axle will pull out, and then I'll get it up in the air and I'll finish tearing the rear end apart. So the axle is kind of stuck, so I don't have a slide hammer. So I've inverted my drum, put lug nuts in here, and I put 3 of them to kind of try to keep things even. Let's see if it's going. There we go. I didn't stretch my brake too far, but got it. All right, so I'm having trouble. You can see I've already took one of the straddle cap bolts off, but that hole right there to the left of it is where the roll pin goes through, and you cannot get a straight angle on these. So I think I'm going to have to pull the freaking carrier out. So to pull the carrier out, I got to pull that wheel off, that axle out, and pull that cap off and that cap off and all the shims and bushings and all that. The only advantage I have is you know, it's everything's going back in just like it was. So if I didn't have this already drove about halfway through the pin, then I would probably put it back together and order a whole freaking traction carrier, maybe even change my gears while I'm at it and just freaking rebuild the whole thing. But since I got the lunchbox locker and I've got that pin in a position where I can't really quit, that means I think that's gonna have to come out. Sucks. So I popped it out, got my pin out. My pin was on the bottom side or the top side, however you want to look at it. There's no pin on this side, and the freaking spiders just don't want to drive out. I've never seen a cross pin hang this tight. This is crazy. So this guy just doesn't want to come apart for nothing. But I'm going to keep working, keep beating, keep banging. But so to get that pin all the way out, I ended up having to grind down my 1/4 inch pin punch to a little bit smaller diameter because it's a 3/16, but my 3/16 wasn't near long enough. This one actually fell a little bit short. Ended up using a drill bit, dropping a drill bit in there, and then finishing driving it out the rest of the way. But right there's the master pin. Whew. So little by little, I'll beat on this some more, and hopefully I can get the spider gears to come apart. It started to move a little bit, but then if you look, it's real close on whether that pin's going to clear the gear or not. I may have to take the gear off, but we'll find out in a minute. So anyway, yay. It's okay. Pulled the ring gear so I can get this in the press and get things out of my way, and use a big socket down here to get it around the shaft and all that kind of stuff. And you know, as you can see, I've got it in a little press, and that son of a bitch still isn't coming out. And I was like, okay, I'm desperate. I'm going to watch some videos because, you know, I've done this before. It's not a big deal. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I forgot something. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, you just drive this pin out and then give it a couple taps and it comes right out. Bullshit. But anyway. So, yeah, I'm digging. I'm trying. Elvira may never see the road again. All right, so the pin is out. I had to go to a buddy of mine and use a 40-ton press, but here's the pin. Look at that golded up thing. Somebody run this dude out of oil at one time or another in its life, is my assumption. Look how nasty that dude is. Good gravy. Look how much wear it's got there. Look at that. So that's what it was hung on. But yeah. Anyway, it's out, so now I can start messing with the locker. So now that the pin's out, ugly, ugly pin, you just roll these guys. There goes one, and there goes one. These guys you might have to tap on a little bit, but generally they pop out okay. I'm not going to be able to do it with one hand, I don't think. I'm working it a little bit. You can see some gap getting in there. See the gap. But yeah, so push one out and push the other out, and I can start on the locker. Man, they generally fall out, man. I'm just not having luck with this thing at all. This thing must have got really warm at one time. Damn, man. That's ridiculous. Yeah, you can see it's got, yeah. Wow. I'm gonna have to replace this carrier sooner than I want to. It's just ugly. That one wasn't so bad. There we go. Now, probably before I go further, I should work on cleaning this stuff up. Man, that is ridiculous. Because this one, wow. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it makes it through the summer. And this winter I can do something about it. Look at that. See how beat up and ugly that is? And this is the side that fell apart. Yeah. Yeah, somebody done run that dude dry. And it wasn't me. Don't be yelling at me. I didn't do it. So here we go. Just set those dudes in. No big deal. Easy peasy. Slid right in after I cleaned everything up. Now I gotta put the other side of the locker together. Okay, I'll show you how I think this goes. So you're gonna take a spring, you're gonna put it in here. You're gonna take this guy, you're gonna put him over top of the spring. And if you see, you got a little groove right there, right? You can pull this guy out for now. So you push this dude down until you get in the groove, and then you can add this little keeper. Okay, that holds the spring in until you get it all put together. So then you'll put this guy in here. Might be easier to put him in this guy first. Boom. And then you take another little lock pin. If I can get it. Okay, so now that one's cocked and ready. And then you take this guy. You put him in. Put this guy back in here so I don't forget how he goes. You take a little pin, put him in there, cocked and ready. And you take this guy, drop the spring in, put him in, push him down, cocked and ready. Now the only thing I don't know exactly is what these are for, but you know they're in there, so I guess I will leave them in there. I don't really know what they do, to be honest. I might have to look them up just to see, but they will slide out that way. Then the axle will push them in to help support the pin. I don't know. Beats me. Beats me. I just work here. The axle I don't think will go that far. It won't go all the way through there, I don't believe. But anyway, so let's see if I can get this put together. So I'm going to take this guy and this guy. I'm going to put them butt to butt like this. Okay, see how they got the little grooves? So that's where your pins are going to go. And I got to see if I can work this dude in here. It might not go together quite like that. So easy. I might have to put one in and then the other in. But that's okay too, I think. So I think this one's gonna have to go in first. If it'll go in. Wait. There we go. That's how you do that. That's how you do that. Okay. And then this guy's got to go in. So I don't know if you could see that or not, but I'm trying. The flats, I had to put the flats toward the top and the bottom. Dog just scared himself. Flats toward the top and the bottom. and then slide him in here and kind of roll him around. I'm hooked on. I'm hooked in there. Okay. Now, how to move this guy so he's. Oh, there we go. There we go. I got that pins lined up. Need something to grab a hold of it with. My fingers are too slick. Okay, there's one of them. And there's another one. Then you roll this guy around here. And there's another one. And there's another one. And now all I do is put my pin in. Pin in, pin in. I gotta get my pin out first. So, let me get my cups moved out of the way a little bit. I'm gonna use a flat tip screwdriver. Flat tip screwdriver. Can you see in there? Not much, but. Now, okay, you're gonna go like this, maybe. Why are you so tight? Maybe I should roll him the other way and see if that one goes in better. I should have cleaned those holes up better before I started. I need something to turn that with. I want to line up my hole for my it went right in that way. Okay. There's him. And then a roll pin will go here. I'd like to make sure he's straight first. Something just a little bit smaller. That seems pretty good. There we go. Lunchbox locker installed. Wow. Sorry, he moved a little bit. There we go. Got the cotter pin in, lunchbox locker in. Everything was pretty normal. Now all I gotta do is assemble it. Okay, ring gear back on, locker in. You can see shims behind the bearings. I don't have any shims on this side of my bearings, so I shouldn't have to do anything other than bolt this dude back in and make sure that the play's about right. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll get it bolted up and we'll be back. All right, I should have showed you my marks, but I had both my caps marked, so I knew which one was right and which one was left. That's my bearing caps and my straddle caps. And I also wanted to know where the up was, because depending on, well, not even depending on. So the caps are made to go one way. A lot of people like to stamp them, and they'll like put a stamp, you know, R here, L here, L here. I just set them out where I know where they're at and what they're doing, and hope nobody screws with them. So yeah, got those in, got them torqued to 80 foot-pounds, and I'm ready to put axles back in. So axles, you're ready to go back in. All right, new gasket, cover's on. I did put some silicone on it to hold my gasket on while I was putting the cover on. You can see I got a broken bolt there, and I got a broken bolt up there. That's been that way since I got the car. So I left the plug out, so I remember to put oil in it, and I'm gonna go ahead and lower it down a little bit while the silicone sets up so I can put the wheels and tires on. And remember, I gotta remember the spacers too. They go under the brake drum. So spacers there, and then drums, tires, good to go. All right, got the wheels on, got it back up in the air, haven't put oil in it yet, but it should, I think, if I turn one wheel, because I'm not turning the drive shaft, that's gonna represent going around a corner, and it should ratchet. Oh, it locked in. I don't know if that's just because I got weight on it, or don't have weight on it. There it goes. Does some. When it's got weight, it won't do that so much, but that's the noise everybody talks about. So, and then of course if you turn this guy, both wheels are going to turn. So yeah. All right, let me get oil in this dude. Let's see what you do. Probably drop you a couple times. I might edit it out, I might not. I really just want to get you a spot so you can listen and see if you can hear it clicking. That's the main thing. This way. Definitely catching posi on the shift. It's a little cold. I probably shouldn't have floored it, but you know, hey. Who am I? Who am I? How's that? I don't hear anything from the gears as far as like a whirl or anything like that, like the wipes off, or you know, because it should have been the same. I didn't have to move any shims. All the shims were on the inside of the bearings, so yeah, it was just bolted up, so it should have stayed the same. But there's always a chance, you know. And different torque. I don't know what the torque originally was on the straddle caps. I put them at 80. You know, some saying 65, some say 80. I went with 80. So just went through a corner. Nothing. I mean, I don't hear anything. Which I, you know, read a ton of reviews on it, and there was some people that complained about it being noisy, and some say they never hear it. My car's a little noisy, so maybe my car's just more noisy than it is. But yeah, so far I'm fairly impressed, really. I wish my carrier wasn't in such bad shape, because I'd probably just leave it together if it's going to be this good. But with my carrier in the position it's in, I feel like a rebuild might be coming its way to make it as reliable as I want it. And if I'm going to do that, then I'll probably change gears and locker and everything, and I'll go to, you know, a true track Detroit, you know, I don't know, 373-ish, because I'm going to go to an overdrive transmission. So, you know, I might do that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so far it sounds real nice. It's good. Try to head to some curvier roads where I've got, you know, a little more speed up or something. See if I can hear it click through. It's definitely biting though. I could feel it push a little bit, trying to give it a little gas through that corner. When I let off of it, you could feel the car go more to the right where I was trying to turn to. Interesting. But yeah, I can't hear a click one. So far, Spartan locker, thumbs up. Yeah, this is pretty good. I got like a 90-degree driving corner up here, so we'll see how it does there. But so far, real impressed. Might be worse. The pavement's just a little damp. It rained here a little bit ago and the pavement's not all dried off, so that could be part of it too. I could be sliding a tire a little bit. Yeah, I heard nothing. I was really concerned about the drivability, that you know, people say you got to drive them a lot different. So far, it feels pretty normal. I drive it about this way all the time, so you know, I'm sure there'll be some spots that I'll be like, oh, can't accelerate like that there anymore, but you know, for the most part, it's doing really well. Definitely two. Bonus. Yeah, I like it. So I gave it a little goose in the driveway. You can see both spots. Over there and over there. That's good. That's good. Cover that back up. Don't get yelled at. So yeah, to be honest, this is like only the second time I've had some kind of true pause traction. So I had an 86 IROC back in the day. It come out with pause traction. Outside of that, like all the 9-inch Fords that I had back in the day, I couldn't afford any kind of posi. Really couldn't afford a spool. But what I could afford was shims. So I would shim the spider gears real tight, and it worked pretty well. You know, for what I did and the power I had, and you know, the time it was, so you know, I just got by. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I did notice coming down the highway, like if I would accelerate just real quick, I could feel it kind of pull one way or the other, and then when I'd let off of it, I could feel it kind of set in, you know. So not huge problems by no means or another, just something you notice as a driver. So yeah, but standard gear locker, kind of digging it. I got 2 tires. We're getting ready to see what she'll do later, you know. I mean, can't today, but one of these days. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get her to the track now. I need more tire. This episode of Redneck Muck brought to you by Avani Motor Corporations and the Avani 2. She's slick, she's fast, she's mean, she's cool. Buy an Avani today at your local dealer.